What's up, everybody? I'm Never a Dull Moment, and today we're taking a look at the Samsung SR75 Space Monitor. As opposed to most monitors where you get kind of a standard pedestal that it sits on, takes up kind of a lot of space, and it gives you minimal adjustment over how you can actually move the monitor, the Samsung SR75 takes a completely different approach. So it actually uses a clamp that goes on the back of the desk, and then it has this really strong hinge that allows you to move the monitor freely, pretty much as you want. Now, when this monitor was first released, I really liked the concept. I'm a college student, and I end up sitting in front of my computer a lot, and I need space to have a notebook and be able to look at things on my computer while I'm doing work, and that's always been a problem for me in the past. My concern with it, though, was that it was probably going to be too expensive, and that the quality for the price was not really going to be very impressive for what it was. And at the release price of $400, that was definitely an accurate prediction. But it's had a couple of price drops, and now in October of 2019, it's going for only $250. And at that price, it competes with completely different monitors, and it's really a much better value. I would go so far as to say that this is the best all-around monitor you can get for $250 right now. The nice thing about the Samsung Space Monitor is that it pretty much does everything well. It's not really a master at gaming or media creation or anything like that, but you can pretty much do anything on this monitor, and it's going to hold up to the task. It has about 300 nits of brightness, which makes it good to use in a bright room. It also has decent reflection handling. It has 144 Hz refresh rate, 4 millisecond response time, and it supports FreeSync, which makes it good for gaming. The color accuracy out of the box is pretty good. It has high contrast of about 3000 to 1, which is much higher than you see on most monitors. Most monitors will use an IPS or a TN panel, especially at this price point, and that sacrifices a lot of contrast, and with TN panels you also sacrifice a lot of viewing angles. So a VA panel was an interesting choice to use, and it definitely results in a nicer image quality. Something that's a little bit interesting is this monitor does support 10-bit color, which means that on paper it could theoretically produce HDR content, but as of right now there's no support for that. So it is theoretically possible for Samsung to put out an update for it to support HDR in the future. That may be wishful thinking, but when this monitor was first released, it also didn't support FreeSync, and now it does due to an update. So overall, what's it like to actually have this monitor on your desk? Well, frankly, I've been really liking it so far. The ability to move it around kind of however you want based off of your uses is really handy. I have a lot more room to move things around on my desk here and still be able to get a comfortable view of my screen. I was actually able to reattach the wrist rest back on my keyboard, which previously I didn't really have space for. So this monitor has been really good for that. In terms of actually watching content, media looks really good. There are a lot of settings that you can use to change the appearance of the monitor. Custom is going to be the most color accurate out of all of them. There's also standard, cinema, and dynamic contrast. Personally, I mostly find myself using custom, but if you really want to get the most kind of saturated and appealing look, for some reason game mode actually increases the colors and makes the monitor brightest out of everything. There really is a pretty substantial difference in using a 1440p monitor, especially for this size. I definitely noticed that the sharpness is a lot better, and I've compared this to some other 1080p monitors, and everything just looks a lot nicer on it. As far as gaming goes on this monitor, everything looks really smooth and clear. I'm coming from a 60 Hz 1080p monitor from before, and this is really a massive improvement. FreeSync capabilities really mean that you get the best image possible, and the low response time really makes it feel a lot more responsive. Overall, I would say that this monitor is going to be good for all but the most competitive gamers, and I've really enjoyed using it. In terms of gripes that I have about this monitor, one thing I did notice is that it does have a dead pixel up here in the top left corner. It's not really very noticeable, and I honestly forget it's there unless I'm in something like a web browser and reading documents. But I have also heard a couple people on Reddit saying that they've purchased one or more of these monitors and also seen dead pixels. So it's possible that the quality control on these may not be the best. I don't really want to make a super big deal out of this because I'm not really sure what everyone's experience has been like, but I just wanted to point out that I have that. The other thing I want to say is that while this monitor claims to support 10-bit color, and that's what all the ratings are saying, if you actually go in to try and change that, it is locked at 8-bit color in the current configuration. So I can only hope that Samsung will push out another update and enable support for 10-bit color and HDR. There's no real guaranteeing that that's going to happen, but seeing as that it does have the capability, I would really hope they do. Aside from that, the stand is really nice, but I don't think it's a good enough reason to just buy it on its own. If you want something that's going to be aesthetically pleasing, that's going to just make a really nice, simple look and save space on your desk, it's definitely a good selling point. The stand itself does have some limitations. You really only have up and down and tilting adjustments here. There's no left or right, and it can be a little bit annoying if you want to scooch it to the left or right of your desk. It's not that bad, you just have to reach under and loosen the stand and then slide it, but it's still not as easy as some other kinds of monitors. If you're looking for a similar level of usability and space savings, you can always just buy a regular desk stand like this, which will support up to 2 monitors. So there's really nothing wrong with this kind of solution, but what the Samsung offers is good price to quality ratio, a more attractive stand, and overall just a cleaner look. The cable management on the back is also very nice, so you get these little grooves where the cables can hide and you don't really see anything when you're normally using it. Overall, I would recommend getting this monitor if you're looking for something that's going to be good for all-around usage and you want to free up some space on your desk. I'm Never a Dull Moment, and I'll see you around.